Welcome back. We are here at the Prudential Center. I'm Claire Wolfe alongside Ryan Clayton, where we just saw number 16, Seton Hall University Pirates, take down number 21, the Butler Bulldogs. And can I just say, with a score of 74-72, it was a neck-and-neck battle all the way till the finish, especially with a shot from a certain someone, but we'll get into that much later. So Ryan, first of all, talk us through the first half. What were you thinking? What are your thoughts or opinions, good or bad, about the first half? What do you think?
So as a team as a whole, it was really interesting to see Kevin Willard's specific play call in those opening minutes of that first half of the game, really. Specifically, I noticed how he was trying to get certain players involved, guys like Roden, Gill, just trying to get, because guys like Mamu and Powell and Quincy are always going to find shots and stuff, but sometimes it's harder. I don't want to say harder, but sometimes Gill or Roden or any of those guys are not necessarily forgotten, but they may get lost up later on in the game. But if you get guys like that going, I imagine Willard's mindset was, if I get guys like this going, then we're in business, man. We are cooking. So It was really interesting to see from him the certain play calls and certain plays he drew up for certain players.
I agree, and he really got some players who don't usually get a lot of playing time. Tyrese Samuel has not had a lot of playing time recently, yet he threw him in there, and Shavar Reynolds, I forget if you mentioned him or not. When they were in there, they were making big plays with a few assists, maybe even a few points, especially Shavar Reynolds.
Oh yeah, specifically Shavar's line was only in the game for 10 minutes. I think it was 3 points and maybe 1 or 2 assists. But Shavar's the kind of guy, there's a lot of guys like this on the team where their stats do not show up in the box score, but the hustle, the just determination they bring, especially Shavar on offense and some of his playmaking abilities, really helps this team out. And it helped them a little later on in the game. It was a little rough for the Pirates early on. They were getting good. The defense overall, I think, was fair for the Pirates. It honestly did feel like this that just Butler was making a lot of tough shots early on in the game, which can be determining, but obviously the Pirates were able to hold on and come out with a win. But stuff like that early on can have an effect on a team.
Yeah, and I really think that they picked up the second half. They knew that the Pirates knew that in the first half they can't quite make those 3-point shots. Maybe they're not as confident with that. So in the second half, then they learned, okay, we've got to go down low. We've really got to pack the key with all of our players and just kind of get our points that way. So I think that was a really smart move on their part.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So staying with the first half, what do you think? Who are some big players? I know you mentioned a few, but give us a recap of who you think are the big players here and why.
One big player who had a phenomenal night overall, but was really, I think, one of the strongest players in the first half was Romaro Gill. Gill had some, we always talk about how Powell threes and certain things can get a crowd going. One of the things that gets this reporter excited is Gill dunks and Gill lobs. There is nothing that gets the Prudential Center rocking like a Gill lobs, and Gill was feasting in that first half. So Gill was probably my standout player for that first half.
I agree. So we actually caught up with Coach Willard to see what he thought about the game.
I thought the way we came in Monday morning at 7 a.m. showed me that they understood what I was talking about. They came out with a great attitude. We practiced for an hour and a half at 7. We practiced for an hour and a half at 2:30, and we came back and watched film at 9 for an hour. And they were great. And that's when I knew they understood what I was saying, and I knew that no matter what happened today, that we were going to be in a good spot going forward. I went into halftime. I told guys this is the first time we haven't been down double digits in like 6 games at halftime. To me, I felt like we were winning. And that's what I said, guys, we're only down 6. I'm like, this is great. And I said, so everybody relax and just go out and play. And I think we haven't played well. We haven't played well here. So I think there was a little tension early in the game that trying to get off to a good start to get our fans into the game. I know our guys, once we kind of started scoring and our fans got into it, I think our fans really relaxed our guys. I think it's huge, and I just think it's. When I looked at the second half schedule, I knew going forward it's a brutal schedule. We have as hard as anybody, and I think every win this time of year is great. It gives us from Big East seeding, NCAA tournament seeding, all that stuff. It just every win this time of year, especially against a really good Butler team. And that's a team with Aaron Thompson, when Aaron Thompson's healthy, is as good as any team in the country.
So there was definitely a huge 180 change between the first half and the second half. So how would you describe walk through it for us?
Yeah, overall, the team energy really changed. I saw it differently. Offensively, what really I think changed was their ability to attack the rim. We obviously don't know exactly what was said in the locker room, but one of the things that I thought was interesting was it seemed like the focus changed from, specific plays, doing screens like fade and kind of goes and stuff, and it seemed like it was more so that the Pirates were focused on attacking the rim. Now, that could have been from Gil having a great night, but I think the biggest change was their ability to attack the rim, which really, I think, helped them win this game.
I agree, and I think they were really aggressive. What was kind of interesting was Quincy McKnight, Mamu, they were very deep in foul trouble with 4 fouls per, and I think that they just really stuck through it. And even though they were in foul trouble, they stayed aggressive. They kept their arms up, or hands up. They kept boxing out. They were really strong in the paint tonight.
Yeah.
So, what would you say? What play, in your opinion, kind of got the crowd on their feet? What do you think was the turning point in the second half?
Well, we are going to get a double shot of me talking about Romero Gil. There was specifically, I talked about how Gil lobs and Gil dunks gets excited. I think it was either a Shavar or Quincy pass to Gil, and Gil just got wide open. It was a really nice executed pass, but Gil was able to slam it home, and I'm pretty sure it cut down on a lead and stuff. Another big thing was around, I believe, the 11 or 10 minute mark, Pirates went on an 8-0 run. That is another thing that I really think catapulted them in front, got them back into this game, and ultimately picked up a win.
I agree. For me, it was probably the Myles Powell pass to Quincy McKnight, who then sunk a three-pointer almost out of nowhere. I think that really got the crowd on their feet. That was around the same time, about the 11th minute of the second half, and you could just see a complete switch of, it was like a whole new different team was out there. And it was really interesting to see crowd on their feet. Great experience for everybody here at the Prudential Center.
Absolutely.
So yes, and then of course we've got the shot at the end. So please walk us through that.
Oh man, the shot heard around the world. So to set the scenario, game is tied 72-72. Ball goes out of bounds. It's Seton Hall ball. Right here on this side, right there, the shot heard around the world. Anyway, so Coach Willard talked about how he drew up this play. So first off, the original time on the clock was 0.4 seconds, and it was changed to 0.6. Coach Willard said in the interview he didn't know, he was drawing up the same play either way. And I think if you look back at the shot that Sandro made, I think it still would have went in without those 0.2 seconds. But so it was a really interesting play because, so first off, he said he, I don't know if he borrowed this play. That's a nice way of putting it. He borrowed this play from the Sacramento Kings. He said he was watching a game where they did something similar with Buddy Hield. So in this situation, they put Myles Powell on a screen, had him out by the 3, so all eyes darted towards Myles Powell. Now, here's the thing. They set up a lob perfectly to Sandro. Sandro's able to just tip it in, just catch it for like a fraction of a second and tip it in, like off balance too. The clip is absolutely amazing, and it was such an amazing shot. Especially, what a special night just for Sandro in general. So.
Yes, and we asked Coach Willard actually what his plan was for that. People were asking, what was your plan? What was the plan that you were drawing up? And he said, honestly, we were hoping for a miracle. Just put it up, and Sandro would just tap it in, and that's exactly what happened. So with all of that in mind, with all of the craziness that happened within 0.6 seconds of the last few seconds of the game, we caught up with Mamu and his teammates to see what they thought. So here you go. So what was going through your head before you were making the game-winning shot? Afterwards, just walk us through that process.
To be honest, my father was in my head. I just wanted to score and make him proud, so that's all it was on my head. And I feel like I just waited a little bit, and that kind of confused them too, because I feel like if I went straight away, they would just keep up. But I feel like me just freezing for a moment and just giving them time to set screens for MP just worked out really good.
Okay.
Last question.
He wanted me to talk about the .2. I mean, when it first went out, it was 0.4 4. And then they came over. The refs was telling us it was our ball because they couldn't see who it was out on. And I said, "Can you check the clock too?" And Mike said, "I can do that." And then he moved it to .6. And then Coach, being the best coach in the country that he is, he drew up something right there on the fly, and it worked. So I mean, we're gonna get back to tomorrow. We're gonna have a great practice. We're gonna call the guys together. We have a great team coming in on Sunday. We're not gonna take them for granted. Like I said, this is one of the best conferences in the country, and anything can happen, so we don't have no time for slip-ups.
Well, it was certainly another Big East game, neck and neck all the way until the end. Again, we have a 74-72 win here at the Prudential Center. So make sure you check Hall Talk tomorrow, and make sure that you come back when they're back in action. The Pirates will take on St. John's here on Sunday at 2 p.m. Once again, I'm Claire Wolfe here with Ryan Clayton, and have a nice night.